Hey friends, it is me, Stace. Today we are playing with the resin. I want to make a fishing piece, and I wanted to use have it be the size of a plate. I don't have a silicone mold that large, so I went to the pantry. I came across this bake pan. I want to say it's like 7 inches in diameter. It came with one of our air fryers. We've never used it, so if I ruin it with epoxy, I'm okay. It does have a non-stick coating on it, but I think my epoxy will stick to it. So I'm going to try it. So what I did is I used this Teflon sheet. I cut it to be the inside diameter. I also created these little feet, if you can see them on the inside. Then I have this silicone piece. I cut that to be a circle to fit inside there like that. So hopefully that'll keep all my resin in one spot. I'm not going to fill it all the way up, maybe a little bit, maybe like maybe, I don't even know, like an inch or so. All right, so now we want to fill it with our epoxy or our things. So I have these beads. Let me zoom you guys in. I don't know where I got them from. Or what I used them for, but they were in the shed. I thought I had like aquarium gravel. I didn't see that in there. So I'm going to use these just to add a little bit of something on the bottom. I have some lures, I have some bobbers, I have some hooks, and I also have some weight and I have some fishing string. And I already have my epoxy mixed up. So I have this lure. I like it because it's nice and colorful. And I'm going to move these down some. I'm going to move them close to the bottom. I don't need all these at the top like that. So move them a little bit farther down. Like that. Okay. We're going to put this lure in here. Like that. So my resin, my epoxy has to be deep enough to cover those hooks. Okay. All right, then we have a little bobber. I have a few bobbers. I have this little one. I have a big one here. I might not use that big one. It's awfully big. All right, then I have this. I found this. It's a frog, if you can see that, lure, and it's got hooks on it. Oh, so horrible. All right, we're going to put that in here as well. Now, that may not work because it is kind of lightweight, so I may not use him. I have this thing. I could use this thing, but I think it's too big in relation to that, so I think I'm just going to do another lure. All right, so we have this one. I think I'm going to maybe have him go the other way. I don't really like that one. Let's do, ow! Okay. I'm going to do this one here. Like that. Then he has these things. I don't even know what these are. I asked my husband what they are. They're like, I want to say like chasers or leaders. He has like a whole bunch of them right here. So I'm going to grab a few more of those. I don't see any more small bobbers. I like the frog. I don't think he's going to work. I think he's just going to want to float. I mean, these all might want to float for all I know. I don't know. All right, we're going to put him there. All right, so I need a bobber up here. I need something over here. We can put, I have more than beads. I'm trying to look and see if there's anything, like I thought I would do fishing string. I had just a hook here. I have one of these things. I forget, I asked my husband again what they're called, and I forget what they're called. But we're going to put that in there. And I have this little lure over here that I can't get to. It's like all tangled up in this mess. And I'm afraid to play with it, but I did find another bobber. All right, we're going to close these up. I'm not a fan of fishing. Do you guys like fishing? I think it's nice. It's relaxing, but I'm not a fan of it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pour our epoxy in here. It is warm, it is thick, and it is already mixed up. So do you think we have enough stuff in there? I don't want it to be too cluttery, but again, I need to make sure that it's really important my epoxy covers them hooks. I'm trying to look and see. I went through the tackle box already. I could put a weight in there, maybe. We have these weights. They're not really attached to anything, though, because these ones that have like a hook on them, I don't want to use that. I think that's enough, right? I think it's just enough. I don't want to do too much. I don't want it to be too busy. All right, so what do y'all think of that design? Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to give my epoxy another stir. Let me zoom you guys out a little bit. All right, hopefully I just got blurry. Hang on. All right, friends, we are back. I had to adjust the camera a little bit. All right, so I was going to put a weight in there, but I think I think it's enough. So I have, like I said, my epoxy mixed up. And I use the Pudio brand. It is 1-to-1 ratio. Alright, so I have that. I'm going to put that right there. And we're going to pour this in. Now, the nice thing about this is I'm not going to worry about bubbles. I think bubbles is going to kind of add to it. I just want to make sure it's going to cover those hooks, and I don't know. I might need more epoxy. Alright, so I'm going to get all that out of there. Alright, I do have another one mixed up over here. Alright, so I have this one over here, because I knew it would not be enough of that little one. Okay, we're going to pour this in there. Oop, my fishing lure is going to float. I want to keep him down. Alright, so my bobbers are going to float. You know, Stacey, that's what bobbers do. My husband was here, he said, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to float. Alright. So what I'm going to do, alright, let me look at this now. Alright, we're going to kind of hold him down in there a little bit just to kind of get him in there. The bobbers, I don't think I can hold down. They're just going to pop back up because they're bobbers. But I'm hoping that the thick resin would kind of keep them in there. But the good thing is all my beads and whatnot, the hooks are covered. I just got to kind of hold him in there. Alright, we're just going to push him down. Like I said, I do see bubbles, but I'm okay with it because it's water, right? I should have put some alcohol ink in here. Yeah, I don't think the bobbers are going to stay down. Neither is this guy. I mean, he will. You just got to watch him. Like when it starts to set up, I'm just going to come back in here and push him down. But I'm able to rearrange them, put them back the way I had them. Like that. I think we're going to take the bobbers out because they're not going to float. Right, let's take the bobber out of here. Or they're going to float and I can't. I might put them back in once this sets up a little bit. So I have a weight. We can put one of those in here. Alright, we're going to put him down there. Let me grab my little stick so I can kind of move him over a little bit so he's off that rock. Alright, so what I think I want to do is we're going to move him down over here. Figure out that bobber in a minute. Move him over. And we're going to put him in here. Okay, I think that's enough. So I'm just going to sit here and kind of just hold this down. I will come back, let you guys see what it looks like, and then we're going to let it sit for probably overnight, and then we're going to demold it tomorrow and see how it did. Alright, so I'll see you guys in a little while. Hey friends, it's me, Stace. It has been 24 hours since we did our epoxy fish theme. It's not coming out as easy as I thought it was going to. I thought I would just undo the tape, slip it right out. Apparently there's epoxy behind the Teflon sheet. So what I did is I took my Cricut spatula and I really went in on the sides just to kind of break up that seal of the epoxy. And that was not working. So I took two regular screwdrivers and I went on the sides to bend the pan to kind of like create an air pocket below that. And I think it worked. So we're going to pull this out now, hopefully. We can get it out of here. I don't want this to tear because I'm using that for, there we go. It's coming. It's coming. All right. Okay, so you can see all the epoxy we have down here. That's what was holding that to the pan. All right. I'm definitely going to have to sand this down for sure. For sure. All right. So now this silicone piece should come right out. There we go. All right, so it's not perfect. So you can see I have some very, very rough edges. I definitely need to sand these down because you can get really cut on this. But the back looks pretty good. And I'm happy I was able to see my fishing string. I don't know if you can see that in there, but there's fishing string in there. So what I have, let me bring in my silicone mat here. I have this little tool. We got it for the girls for their paws. It's called a razoo, but it's like a Dremel. So I'm going to go in and sand this down. I think I need to do a little bit on the bottom because you can get cut on that. I'm going to sand this down and I'm going to come back and we'll see how it looks after I sand it down some. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Alright friends, we are back. I went ahead and did my sanding along the side so it's nice and smooth. Here's the bottom. You can't feel a single hook. Also the hooks on the top you can't feel. I love the fact it's not perfect. There's a lot of texture to it with the bobber sticking out, with the fishing lure here, the little bit of the fishing lure there. I can even feel some of the texture of the dried flowers I use because they rise to the top. I can clearly see the fishing string. There's lots of bubbles, which I think just adds to the character of the piece. And I also love it's not a perfect circle. It almost has like this natural wave to it. So overall, I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. Again, not perfect, but that's kind of what I was going for. The only thing I'm not happy with are the sides. If I can show you here, maybe here you can see the difference. You can see how it's nice and clear here. Then we have this fog. It's a pretty, it's a good layer of fogness here, and it almost like the resin picked up the texture of the Teflon sheet I used in the pan. It even has that texture of the Teflon sheet. So what I think I'm going to do, especially on this part where this bobber is really close to the edge, I'll just take my X-Acto knife with a chisel and I'll just chisel this away. I'll come back with my sander to make it smooth. Then once my husband gets home, I'll have him put on the belt sander. That's a lot faster than I can do it because it goes all the way around, if you can see that. It has this natural like fog to it. I don't like that look. I want to be able to see it or see through it. So we need to remove this layer. And the easiest way to do that is with the belt sander. If I need to, I can always come back in with a top coat of resin, but I don't really think I'm going to need to do that. I think I like it. I think I'll make a little plate stand with my laser for it to sit on a shelf. Now I could have added alcohol ink in it to make it have that more of a wooder feel, but I actually like it being see-through. Like if I take blue paper, does that show it off more? Does it show it off less? I don't know. Like I may be able to put it behind a plate, you know, have the plate behind it that's blue and have this sit in front of the plate so it kind of has that you can still see through it, but it has that blue background maybe. Or even get like some, you know, like fishing scrapbooking paper, like a woodery design. But overall, really happy with it. So what do you guys think? If I were to make it again, which I think I would, because I think this is a great way to preserve things. You know, your kids' toys, anything that you can submerge in the resin, you can hold on to forever. I will not use this. I would pick up those silicone baking, you know, like a silicone pie plate kind of thing. This way it releases from the mold of the silicone a lot easier than this was. This was definitely a struggle getting out of that pan. I had to bend the pan with my screwdrivers to get it out, but overall, my first time, I really do like the piece. So anyway, my friends, what do y'all think? Leave me your comments below in the comment section. As always, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.